Okie dokie, we are live, folks. So welcome. We're here doing an open panel. So last week there was a bit of commotion in the live chat, so I decided, you know what, this time let's do an open panel. If anyone has any contention with what we're saying, what we believe, they're free to join up and discuss. I have Roy from Imago Logos. I don't know if anyone else from the Imago Logos team are going to join. We'll see what happens. And I'm hoping that we can have some discussions today. So, Roy, you want to talk about what Imago Logos is all about?
Yeah, we post stuff on like theology and history and philosophy, and that's kind of our main thing. Obviously, with the somewhat apologetic oriented focus, but although like so far our content has mainly been that, but we have some stuff planned that's just going to be like on the pure philosophy or like pure history later down the line. Um, we do have some interesting projects coming up though. So if you don't know, on the Inspiring Philosophy Discord server, there's going to be a debate happening between Roken, who is a member of Imago Logos, and Apollos, who is someone that we've collaborated with a lot.
Mm-hmm. This is the YouTube channel, and you can also their Discord server is linked here. Let me pull it up. Not this. Hold on. Right here. So if you want to join the Imago Logos Discord, and you can literally like ask to have a debate topic or discussion in VC or something. Because we can't do this all the time. So I mean, if you want to go to the Discord, it'd be a lot easier to set things up there. What the heck is going on here? What the heck? Okay, there we go. All right. So originally, I was gonna do a debate review here as we were doing this open panel, but the debate didn't end up happening. There was like a last minute. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but my opponent had a last minute emergency and he couldn't make it. So I don't have any specific thing planned to do. We could watch a video and kind of give our commentary on it while we wait for people to join in. So I mean, let me pull up like there's my discussion that I posted yesterday, or we can do one of the discussions on the Imago Logos team.
Our last debate that we uploaded it's an old one between me and modern atheism on the Trinity. It's a very, very philosophy focused though.
Oh dang. So it's this one right here, right? Let me hold on 1 second. There's this one. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I'm really bad at this. I try to use this is like a touch screen. So I try to utilize that, but apparently I'm really bad at that. So let's try this again. All right, there we go. Nope, never mind. Apparently if I do that, it doesn't work. But anyways, so we could listen to that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's in the live chat. So what we'll do, we'll just kind of listen to that for now. Even though it is philosophy focused, but we'll just hold on. Full screen. There we go.
Let's see. I never understood.
Okay. Did you hear it? Was the audio?
This is it's between so basically Jay asked the question. That Jay is one of our friends who comes on the call-in stream, which for context, we do like a call-in stream every week with Apollos. And Jay usually comes on and just chills or like asks a question, and he kind of prompted a discussion here on the Trinity between me and modern atheism.
Okay. So we got a few viewers. I don't know if anyone's gonna join up, but for now we'll just listen to this and see what happens.
That the idea of like, I guess I understand like the Trinity, right? Like obviously 3 persons, 1 God, right? But like, what I don't know how to explain to a Muslim how God could be 3 persons but 1 God. I'm confused about that. I guess the metaphysical part.
It depends on their objection specifically. Are they saying it's tritheism explicitly, or are they just saying it doesn't make sense?
I guess usually that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I would say the same. It doesn't make sense. You cannot have mentally be one being. I mean, unless you want to say that the word God for you is the name you want to give to the group of 3 divine beings. Okay, but that's silly. Then if that's the case, the four of us are a fortity, right? But I don't see the unifying thing. You're saying that a conscious being is somehow three persons, the conscious being, but also at the same time one. But
We got Brother Maverick here joining in. Brother Maverick, how you doing?
What up? What's going on?
Going on? We're kind of listening in on Roy's discussion he had with an atheist, modern atheism on the Trinity, while we're waiting for people to call in. So just kind of reviewing it.
Cool.
So I'm going to continue.
For sure.
that seems really absurd to me. Like, it's not possible. It just, I mean, how could it be possible? It's just too weird, right?
So when it comes to the Muslim thing, I guess you could say that like with a lot of them, they'll say things like, so do you know, like, do you have a
Wait, what did he say that it's too weird? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't see how it can be coherent.
Okay.
What
Because
is
it,
he-
it, just,
what
it
is
sounded a little bit like
his-
a...
what is his
what's
contention?
that?
What does he not see?
Well, to explain it, he takes the Father is God and Jesus is God and the Holy Spirit is God as statements of identity,
Mhm.
and he says that via transitivity that would make the persons identical to each other.
I see.
Like LPT?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
knowledge on Tawhid and like how they account for the attributes?
All right.
Yeah.
I could probably
Yeah,
explain this,
where
but
it's how, like-
basically the context was obviously Jay deals with like Muslims and stuff sometimes, probably like in real life, and they ask him about the Trinity, so that's why he gets asked about that,
Okay.
and that's why I got into because with the Tawhid thing, right? It's that they'll kind of say that Allah's attributes are inseparable but distinct from the essence, and how do you put it? I don't think they would want to enumerate them as different eternal things or entities. And to me, if you don't want to enumerate them as multiple eternal things, then it seems that you have to reject counting by identity. And that's pretty important for this discussion because the entire Islamic objection stems from counting by identity at this point. Because whenever they try to run the LPT, they always just assume counting by identity is true.
Right,
I'm,
right.
I'm confused. This guy in the lower right-hand corner, is he an atheist or is he a Muslim?
Atheist.
He's an atheist, yeah.
Okay.
So, Strigata, yes, the Holy Spirit is a person. He speaks, he teaches. The descriptions that are given to him, he's grieved, right? He has emotion. So the descriptions that are given to him are a description of person. So he wouldn't be like an impersonal force or something like that. He is a person. So okay, yeah, and I forget the term, Roy, but there is a term, I believe, for the other method of counting that they avoid for the LPT, counting by
Relative
division, I
identity.
believe.
Oh well, there's multiple views. So you'll see this amongst like I don't know, let's say Jay Dyer, right? He'll use counting by division, whereas people like Peter Geach or I'm trying to remember his name. There's one good paper on this, but that goes over this. But there's another counting method besides counting by division called counting by relative identity.
Mhm.
So you can use division or relative identity. Apparently division counting by division has like allegedly caused like epistemic problems. I think there's cases where it's justified though.
Okay, yeah. We have God must be one. I believe he's talking about person since he's able to walk with legs and eat pancakes with a mouth. Okay, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but there are descriptions of God walking in the Old Testament where those are theophanies, appearances of God in the Old Testament. So, for example, God walking in the garden or appearing to Abraham. These are temporal appearances. They're not God's nature and how he exists eternally, right? In fact, if you read Exodus 33, where God says, no man can see me and live, that's because God cannot appear in his full glory, in his full eternal glory, that the world cannot contain him like that. So when he appears in temporal ways. Or like the burning bush, for example. God doesn't exist as a burning bush. That's a temporal appearance.
Yeah, another way you could put it, I guess, like more philosophically, is that you know a cause by its effects, and God causes certain things to occur which reveal himself. So, for example, you can have created manifestations, or if like you're Eastern Orthodox, they would just be the divine energies interacting with creation. But God, in his own essence, doesn't actually enter the world. Rather, there has to be something created, or it has to be energetic if you're Eastern Orthodox.
Right, right. Brother Mapper, you've been a little quiet. You want to say anything?
No, no, no. I'm just listening in, man. I find these interpretations interesting because I don't know. I never tried too much to wrap my mind around one specific philosophical explanation of the Trinity. But the reason I don't is very simple. And I think Kent Hovind said this a long time ago. It's entertaining to look at human beings and their 3-pound brains thinking that they have the ability to understand how and why God does things. So no matter what, for me, we can discuss the philosophical implications of the Trinity all we want. The only thing that matters to me is the fact that we understand that he can and that he does exist as a triune God. I think that Muslims and atheists, and even to some extent a lot of Christians, get so tied up in, well, that's impossible. Well, let's set it up as a syllogism. Brother, you can't barely understand what's in our own solar system, but yet you think that you have the ability to understand how our God exists. To me, no matter how you set it up, the human mind can never comprehend the way that God does things, only that he can do them, and allows us to understand only as far as he allows us to understand. When a Muslim or an atheist thinks that they have figured out a philosophical series of questions to try to disprove the Trinity, it's hilarious to me, because at the end of the day, you are insinuating that you have the ability as a human being to understand how God does things. And to me, you know how I feel about that, Johnny. That's just laughable, which is why I don't discuss it that much. Because again, when you say things like, well, if A equals B and B equals C, what the hell do you know? Honestly, what do you know? You can't even.
Oh yeah, our first video was refuting that argument. Funny enough.
Right. It's crazy to me, because how could you possibly understand it when you can't understand how God creates? You can't understand how God exists in an omniscient form. You can't understand how he. It's just, to me, it's a whole lot of talk, and it's interesting. But I would never be arrogant enough to say, yes, I know how God does this. Does that make sense?
Right, right. And Strigata, by the way, you can click the link in the description, the stream, everyone. This is an open panel, so if you have any contention with what I'm saying, you're free to join up. And I'm believe me, I'm not one to belittle someone. If you're able to be respectful, I'm able to be respectful. So when it talks about here in Exodus 33, God speaking face to face, the intention of the word is like as personal, in a personal level, right? Because that's what it says, unto his friend, like a man speaketh unto his friend. It is not a literal description. Same here with this is Genesis 32:30, and this isn't even a appearance of God in his essence. This is one of those theophanies, right? Because you see it says a man wrestled with God. That's one of the theophanies. So again, like we just said, like Roy just said, like I just said, like Brother Maverick just said, the divine essence does not appear on earth, doesn't come down to earth, right? So
One way you could explain the face-to-face type language is by explaining what analogical predication is, where whenever you have some predicate, let's say, I don't know, the arm of the Lord, right? Or I guess that's not really, it can be a predicate in some cases, but let's say that, let's say you're speaking about the arm of the Lord. Usually the way that Thomists are going to interpret that is that we're using an analogy to describe something about God. So, like, for example, God's power.
Right.
Or even with let's say passions, right? We don't say God has literal passions actually in Thomism as well. What we say is that whenever what's it called, there it's spoken of God having passions, that would be an example of analogical predication, where we're using an analogy to describe the God, but in reality there are no literal bodily passions in God like there are in creatures.
Right. Yeah, and part of that is because it needs to be communicated in a way that we can understand, because of, like Brother Maverick hinted at this, of the certain incomprehensibility of God. You see descriptions like that, like God moved even though he's omnipresent, and that's to describe things like just him doing things, like just him appearing. And so God, you can say it's just an explanation all you want, but at the end of the day, you need to actually have a full response to what I'm saying. Like, you can't just dismiss it as, oh, that's just an explanation. What's wrong with my explanation? And again, you're free to hit the link in the description, and we can discuss this right now, one-on-one. That's why I'm here right now.
What is Strigata saying that he saw? What is this person's contention now?
So I guess he's trying to say God has a body that I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
and he's saying that all I have is an explanation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling him, like, join up. This is why I'm here.
An explanation for what? What verse or story are we talking about?
I'm not sure which one he was referring to. It could be Exodus 33:20 or Genesis 32:30.
Mm-hmm. And
Someone's saying
his
unmute.
comments
Yeah, because this guy said he's muted in the chat, meaning he can't speak.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can get someone in particular to hop on the call, and we can see what will happen.
Oh, I see what. So you're saying you don't have the. Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay, so he's saying that he doesn't have. Okay, I got it. All right. Like okay, I didn't say that. That's my bad.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure if he's telling me the truth, but I'll just give it the benefit of a doubt.
But if he's mute, then how does he know what you're saying? It's not like you have captions on.
I think he's talking about that he's not able to speak,
But he can hear.
but he can hear. I guess I don't know. I don't want to.
Right.
Anyways,
Whatever.
so we're gonna keep going. Oh, no mic. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like literally like you can't speak because of some condition. All right. Well, I mean, if you don't have a mic, that's fine. I can't like.
I mean, I'm on my phone. I don't really have a mic either.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's like
Even on my laptop, I don't have a mic, and I can connect to voice chat and speak perfectly fine. And my laptop's
like
able to.
Yeah, I'm not using a proper microphone right now. I'm just using the computer's built-in audio. So forgot. I don't know if you've had experience where you've joined and since you didn't have a mic, it was terrible. But anyways, I'm not gonna press this too much. Let's go back to this.
Yeah, so with some of them, especially like the Salafis, they'll say stuff like, Allah has the attribute of a hand, but we just don't know how that works, right? Or they'll say, Allah has a hand, and this is a literal hand, but we just don't know how.
You're muted.
Oh, I think
yeah.
my mic just cut out there. That's
It's
Yeah,
all
it looks
good.
like Roy kind of cut out. Rip.
No, so it's the fact that God is so we just go to the idea that God is like cannot be comprehended, right? I usually go to that too, but I don't know. I guess it just doesn't feel suffice like sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
So that's
I would say,
the thing.
yeah, like
Oh wait, Brother Maverick, was that you, or was that?
What?
What?
I don't know why that sounded like your voice for a second. That was
No, it's
okay.
not
My
me.
bad. My bad.
at least for me, like what I like to do is just go to the because a lot of the times besides the coherence objection, the other objection they'd bring up is like the deity of Christ is not exactly explicit in the biblical text.
All right.
And then, like
I love
Bust down.
yeah, I like to
Hey, how we doing?
what's up, bust down. And I like
Okay,
to
yeah.
appeal to the idea that Christ seems to make very explicit entailments that would entail like his divinity, whether they be explicit or not.
Is my mic working now?
Yeah, your mic's working now.
Okay. So, anyways, what I'm saying is that they have this idea that at least some of them that.
So this discussion is mainly on the philosophical.
Yeah.
Not
Johnny,
necessarily
is this your dad in the chat?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so
we didn't get to meet him last night either. He was supposed to, remember?
Yeah, it was like it went on. The stream went on too long, and then I had to go. So
Gotcha.
we'll see what happens. But oh goodness, so because Apollos brought that up, but I guess that's not where the discussion is going. Whether Christ's deity is made explicit, but I just
think Apollos doesn't do metaphysics that much.
Okay.
So, I mean, what can you do at that point, right?
Yeah, because the thing is with that, and I'll mention this briefly. Number one, I would argue there's a lot of explicit statements. Because when Muslims say there's nothing explicit, what they mean is there's not this exact phrase, therefore it's not explicit. But something explicit doesn't have to be an exact statement that you're looking for.
They can't argue that though, because they believe in Tawheed, and Tawheed is found nowhere in the Quran. So
Right, exactly. So
if they wanna make such an idiotic attempt at argumentation, that's fine. But you better be able to explain literally all of the religious practice you have that comes from outside of the Quran, because the Shahada and Tawheed and so many other concepts are not found within their paradigm, which is what they actually believe is the word of God, and not what so many have come to call the indirect word of God, which is not the indirect word of God. So you can't say, hey, that's not found, so therefore it's not biblical, because we can do that all day. You know what I mean?
right, and on that point, right? So the word Tawheed is not in the Quran. You can argue the concept is there, but the word is not there. So if we run their argument, then the Quran essentially doesn't teach Tawheed because it's not explicit. But the reason I would say it's explicit in the Quran is because of what the Quran says about God, Allah. Like, just read Surah 112, first 4 verses. Okay, that's the doctrine of Tawheed. That's how it should be. So I don't know why Muslims all of a sudden, when we talk about the Trinity, you're not allowed to go to passages like John 8:58 and read it in light of the Jewish context or things like that, and say no, he must say I am God, worship me. It's really silly.
Right.
I don't know, man. Just critique their just say by what standard do they know that he has to say that? Like, why take that presupposition that he has to say it like that? It's up to them to justify it. If they say that, oh well, if it's so important, then it needs to be clear to me. I don't care. That's just your presupposition, bro. Why would I care about what you have to say here? You're not God. You're not New Testament. I couldn't care less about your personal standards.
Because that's what they got used to. That's the problem. And I've actually had that problem a few times when Johnny's been witness, where you speak to these guys and they're under the assumption that you are obligated to grant them whatever prerequisites it is that they feel that you should be arguing under, right? When you talk to a Muslim and they say, well, you have to grant me no, I don't have to grant you anything. I don't have to grant you anything, right? But this is the thing. They have to argue under a set form of parameters, because if they don't, their narrative falls apart very quickly, which it does anyway. There's no problem with talking to them, but that's something that is a great point, and I think that anybody listening needs to get used to not granting Muslims or atheists, for that matter, any argumentation that they want, any prerequisites that they want. You don't have to give them that, because once you pull them outside of their comfort zone, once you pull them outside of their box, you see how weak their arguments really are. If you establish that to them, then they're going to just continue to circle talk you all day long. That's all they want to do.
Yeah, and Roy hit it on the nail. They don't. Once you ask them for the standard of what's explicit and implicit, things crumble, because it's just them. It's their personal idea of what explicit and implicit is, right? Like, to a Jew in the first century, if you say before Abraham was, I am, they're going to understand what you're talking about. They understand the background, especially with the knowledge of the Septuagint, right? Which is a whole nother conversation. They're going to understand that. So you need to justify what is explicit and what is implicit. Something I sometimes I ask, like, why do I have to abide by this rule of interpretation? Why does it have to be this exact phrase, right? So it's the only reason is because Zakir Naik said it. That's as simple as I can put it. Zakir Naik started using the argument, then they just repeat it. They don't have an actual reason for why it has to be those exact words. It's just Zakir Naik started using it, and then they just repeat it because it sounded like a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So Strigata says here again, and God is able to get tired, so he must have a body. Exodus 31:17. And Exodus 31:17 says, "It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed." And like Roy pointed out, you see that language in scripture, like for his arm, stretching out. It's not literally, oh, look at God's arms going out. No, it's language to describe.
It's analogical. It's analogical. Yeah. Either way, though, pretty sure the word for rest there isn't like the English word rest. It just means to cease operation. Yeah, well, it's the same one that is used in Genesis 2:7. I've heard this before. It's used in Genesis 2 where it says, "And God ceased," or "God rested." In fact, if you look at a translator note for, say, the NET, it says the word rest essentially means to cease or stop. So describing God as resting on the seventh day does not indicate that he was tired. He simply finished creation and then ceased or stopped. Basically, there was no new created effect after that.
I think it's talking about specific. Let me pull up the verse.
No. This is the same passage. We're referring to the same passage. Hold on. I can just send you it.
We're talking the same passage. He's talking about this word refreshed.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the translator note right here. It says the exact same thing. I can show you. That's what they read when they look over the words. I can show you. Hold on.
NET footnote. Let me see.
Yeah, right there. See, I was just reading verbatim from it.
NET footnote for. Okay.
Yeah. See.
Okay. Yeah. Because the you have the word rest and refreshed here.
Yeah, refreshed. If I remember correctly, they explain as an anthropomorphism. I'm looking at it right now, and then rest they use as just cease.
Well, that's the point I was getting at, that it's an anthropomorphism. But yeah, the word rest as well. It also means like cease to, in the Hebrew, cease to work or cease to act. So it's not literally, oh, God is resting because he's tired. I think it can be used like that in certain contexts, but not necessarily all the time. All right, and we got a few people tuning in the live chat. There's Zara Grace, Grafted Apologetics is there, of course, Dub. What's going on?
Yo, Johnny,
put this back.
I forgot to say congrats on 400 subs, bro.
Oh yeah, dude, I was supposed to mention that and I completely forgot. Yeah, thank you, 400 subscribers. A lot of thanks to Brother Maverick. Like his stuff has helped me to get out there. We'll see what the Lord does with this channel. So yeah, thank you for 400 subscribers, everyone. Thank you for the congratulations.
That's all you, brother. You do the work.
All right.
I mean, whatever help. The work is all you. You know what I mean? If you collab with somebody, but their channel sucks, nobody's gonna sub to it. You know what I mean? So the work is definitely all you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's get back to the. Thank you. So let's get back to the.
I found your channel. I actually found your channel a long time ago. Way before. We were before you.
Oh dang! How?
Channel, so.
How bad was it?
It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all. You did what a lot of people do. You started talking about God.
Oh yeah. Because my earlier stuff, depending on how far back you go, not the best. But
have you seen some of my early videos, man? And I don't take them down because I always wanted you guys to see the progression of this channel over the years. But if you look at my early stuff, this point and shoot, all one take videos, no post production, no editing, no just whatever it was, whatever I could get in, recording on Streamlabs in one shot. It was, I've learned a lot. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I remember you showed us the Fortnite one on stream. That one was dude, Fortnite season 2, chapter 2, season 2. Those were the good old days.
Dude, man, I was playing since chapter 1, bro. I was playing since chapter 1, season 1. I didn't start streaming though until really the end of chapter 1 when streaming started becoming big, but I never got big on that. I'm glad I did because if you look at the gaming scene now, like all those guys who were at one point 100,000 viewers a day on Twitch and all that stuff, bro, they're absolutely nowhere now. This one guy, and I'll make it quick. This one guy named FaZe Replays, his YouTube videos, his Fortnite recaps, and all the the challenges or stuff he used to do. Bro, his videos used to get 1 million views, 100,000 views, million views, 3 million views. You look at his videos now, he's lucky if he pulls in 3,000-4,000 views per video. And he's still doing them, man. And I couldn't imagine posting videos before and getting millions of views and still doing the same amount of work for not even 2% of what you're getting before. That stuff dies off, man. That stuff dies off,
Yeah. Strigata, if you want to find out what lactic acid is, hit a good workout. Bible lover 1, 2, 3, 4, man. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I subbed to him yesterday.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, yo, Johnny. Firstly, so much congratulations for 400. I've been making videos sometimes with you for over a year, and your content is really good. I watch your videos sometimes to check out answers and stuff. Like, you got good stuff on there. And it's good for us young people to get into apologetics. The Bible says, serve God in your youth. You know what I'm saying? You read Ecclesiastes chapter 12. It says the preacher, fear God and keep his commandments. So this is the whole duty of man, right? Like, it's so good, just committing yourself to this. So I'm thankful for you. Everybody on the panel, God bless you all, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, congrats on 400 and 1,000 is on the way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can get
we're
2,000 quick, dog.
slowly but surely getting there.
Another month or two, you'll be there.
Yeah. So thank you, Bible lover. Guys, subscribe to him. He's doing a nice series on the Psalms. And I believe also you're still working on Mark. Chapter 16 is next, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so go check that out. It's a nice series. We're gonna get back to listening to this. We got what we're doing here. Oh yeah, dialogue between Roy, who's on the panel, and modern atheism on the Trinity. So we're gonna keep going here.
That there's a certain mystery to Allah's attributes, and if they draw a real distinction between the attributes and the essence, then they've introduced a multiplicity of attributes. So even they have to accept a multiplicity in some sense. We're just saying it's in fact, they're in a worse place than us, because this is an absolute multiplicity, whereas we only introduce a relative one.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, well, what happened after I think I don't know the context anymore.
Yeah, so when I talked about absolute multiplicity, right? A good way to explain it, right, is that there's certain attributes which are taken absolutely. So, for example, love, justice, mercy. These are we would consider these absolute, right? Because all three persons share these. So it's not that like, I don't know, the Father is creator, but then the Son isn't creator, right? Rather, they share the same operation of creating. And so what we would say is that these are all absolute properties or predicates. And we don't say there's any distinction in the Trinity considered absolutely. There's no absolute distinctions. Whereas I would say that most Sunni Muslims would have to say otherwise with their view of Tawheed, because they would have to say that there's a distinction between attributes of, say, power and mercy. Whereas for us, we would only make a distinction in virtue of a relation, especially if you take the Thomist route, where God is absolutely simple and there only exists distinctions in God only by relation. So, or a relation of opposition, that is. So, like for us, we would say that all of God's attributes are identical to his essence and his existence. And so there's no distinctions in God unless there's some relation that's opposed between them, which is how we distinguish the persons, by saying that the persons are going to be distinguished because there's some opposing, I guess you could say, relation between them. So, like, for example, right? Um, Paternity and filiation are going to be two opposed relations. So, like, if you have Mark and John, Mark cannot be both the father of John and the son of John at the same time. Those two relations would be opposed. So they would necessarily, so like if you have the father and the son, if the father obviously begets the son and the son is begotten of the father, that necessarily distinguishes those two persons. And in the Trinity, we only have those types of relative distinctions. So for us, we only have a relational distinction, whereas for like the authory, you would have like an absolute distinction. So the argument would be that basically an absolute distinction is probably going to end up worse for your doctrine of God than any relative distinction. Meaning that if you even like if I'm arguing that both Muslims and Christians introduce a multiplicity in God, because we only have a relative one, whereas they have an absolute one, we're clearly in a far better position than they are.
How much more of this do you guys want to watch? Because Roy's kind of carrying us right now with the analyzing this discussion. So we could keep going. It's up to you guys. Like,
I'm
want
kind
to
of
make
just
sure we're all
waiting
in
for
agreement
like
here.
someone to hop in the studio, like to debate.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was waiting for like Khan or something. He's been running his mouth in the live chat a few times. So I'm waiting for him to pull up.
Khan's not going to come in. Khan can't even discuss the Islamic dilemma. He's definitely not going to get into the philosophical implications of the Trinity. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about, but that's pretty funny.
You remember Amir in the live chat last time?
Mm-hmm.
Is that him or something?
Yeah, that's him. And he's not a good.
I hate Christian.
He's not a good faith person either. Yeah, he's not. He false flags a lot. Like he pretends to be an atheist. He pretends like he wants to learn about Jesus Christ. Nobody really knows what his intentions are. But I wouldn't even talk to him about it. I've already spoken to him a couple times.
Bro, I just got trolled.
I've nuked him. I have like 2-3 videos on my channel alone. Like this, it was almost a waste of time.
Grafted. You really got to troll me like that?
What did he say? What did Grafted say?
He joined in with the name Sahih Christian. I thought this was like a Muslim or something. I read the handle. Grafted in the house. Bro.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh,
that's pretty funny.
Okay, Grafted, how you doing, man?
Good old Grafted. Well, it's early for Grafted.
Or do you want me to call you Sahih Christian for the rest of the stream? You're muted.
Oh, I didn't know I was muted, guys. Sorry. Trolled myself. Tranquilo.
Bro, wallahi, you're finished.
Tranquilo, senor. Wallahi, I'm finished. How you guys?
I'm good, man.
Doing good. We're doing good. We're waiting for someone to hit the link so we can have a conversation. It was all fire last time.
Oh, Johnny, you know what? That's something else I was gonna. Now that you keep saying that, it just dawned on me. I don't know if you saw the conversation that I was having with Grafted in the group chat earlier, but Yemeni has basically made a dawah-wide call for Muslims to not only stop calling into our shows, but to mass report and spam report any Christian videos and channels for hate speech. That if they come in and they hear you speaking what they consider blasphemy, his instructions to every Muslim out there, and he actually has a sizable following, is to spam report things until you get Christian channels taken down. The reason being is because he made it clear, and he didn't actually even try to disguise it as anything else, I would say. But he basically was stating that, Muslims are going in and talking to professionals, and you're getting made to look bad, and you shouldn't even be talking to them. What you should be doing is reporting their channels. You should be reporting it for hate speech. You should be saying not interested. You should be doing everything you can to hurt their channel, because that's the only way that they're going to end up, winning this discussion, is by trying to silence Christian channels. So.
You see how that makes no sense though? Like I don't see why they do things like this. Like Muslims have every chance they get to speak with a Christian who's on the street or things, they'll go at it. Right. They'll bring up all sorts of objections that are well out of the blue. Mm-hmm. They will avoid the Bible, they will avoid our teachings, they'll avoid everything. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to now Christians actually dialogue and they want to mass reporting these things, like even last night, God Logic's buddy, Life, having trouble on TikTok, getting shadow banned. These like the For You page is like removing, like, if we could see this, for everybody watching, if we could see, this is modern day persecution in a small sense, right? This is discrimination, persecution, hate. Like, these things are evidences. Funny enough, these are evidences of our Bible, right? The Bible talks about things like this happening. So when we see things like this happening, like, it should embolden us even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, because look at what's going on.
Yeah.
And when our guys talk to the professionals, they still dismantle the professionals, and we see the professionals are the ones that don't even know. Right? The Muslims will avoid the professionals, or they'll cherry pick who they want to choose. So at the end of the day, like, it's just a foolish system. To be honest, it's just foolishness that you can only kind of sum it up as. To be honest.
Well, it would be the fault of the social media, the social media companies, if they allow it, because the thing of it is, they do have a real chance. Like, these things are just computer engines, right? So if you get enough people to spam report one channel, YouTube will take it down. They will take it down. And I don't. Yeah, I raised my volume up a little bit for you guys because I forgot StreamYard is like real weird about the volume. But yeah, YouTube and TikTok especially. TikTok will take you down in a second. YouTube not as quickly, but almost as quickly, right? So you have to be very careful, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very careful. I actually got an email the other day that was telling me that I may not get a plaque for my channel. And if I don't, I don't. But I got an email stating that my channel was triggered for a manual review. Now, if I had to put a guess as to why that is, I can guarantee you why I know that is. Because a channel that's getting reported, after researching it, a channel that's constantly getting reported or complaints about it, I haven't had anything taken down, but just those acts of reporting alone would cause and trigger for a manual review. So, that's just a warning for you guys as you're going through this journey on YouTube, that as a Christian, you're not going to get treated the same as, a channel with a girl showing her cleavage all over the place or people playing pranks on each other. It's not the same. It's definitely not the same because we're doing something that actually matters. So
yeah, Roy actually told me a few times that I probably got shadow banned because when he looks up my channel name, it like
I don't find that, man.
Dude, man. You know what? And early on, that happened to me as well. My channel got shadow banned a lot, especially when I started putting prayers and stuff. Even when I was still streaming, when I would open the streams with the daily verses and talk about God for the first 10, 15 minutes, my numbers plummeted. I didn't stop doing it, but that was when the attention of my channel stopped a lot. And I mean a lot. Johnny, I've had a hard time finding your channel, and I've been subbed to you for months. Even when I'm trying to collab with you, your channel, a lot of times I have to go to your channel, copy and paste your handle, and then paste it letter for letter before it'll even let me collab with you. So yeah, I honestly do believe there's something going on with you, but the tools that used to exist in order for you to find out whether you're truly shadow banned or not don't really exist like that anymore. They took them away. So yeah. It is what it is, man.
Listen. All I did with the Muslims, I just read stuff. The only two people that I had any contention with were Khan, aka Amir, and Aladdin. That's it.
Aladdin was part of that video with Yemeni. Not Aladdin, that guy who's always with Aladdin. I'm sorry, that COFVV Dollar, whatever the hell his name is, the one who like made all those videos and shorts and everything, tagging my name in it. He was in there. He was in the middle of that StreamYard call.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's I just do like what God Logic says. We just read. That's all I do. I don't need any insults. I don't need to edit my stuff to make me look like superior. I just read, let my point speak for itself. If you think I got cooked, that's fine. Because some people were saying in the discussion I posted a few days ago that I got destroyed. And they're both atheists, I think. I don't know. So I don't know if they actually had a legitimate reason. Because I can take constructive criticism. Like, I personally think there was a few mistakes I made in the discussion. But I think they said that just because I'm a Christian. Like, oh, you got cooked. You didn't actually listen. But yeah, I just read, man. Just read and let it speak for itself. You guys want to keep listening to this discussion between Roy and Modern Atheist? Because I have another, since Bible Lovers here, I have another like
Hey, yo, it's your stream, man. It's your 400 celebration. Do what you want to do. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's your stream.
Well, I mean,
Hey, Babel,
I
I never
want
greeted.
want
Sorry.
you guys to make a decision too. Like, this is a democracy, all right? Sometimes there's a
It's up
dictatorship.
to you.
This is a democracy.
I
What?
don't really mind. We can do whatever. I don't really mind. I guess we're just doing this like pass the time before someone shows up.
Yeah, all right. Because Bible, remember you had that discussion with some Muslims on Deuteronomy 22, and Brother Maverick, you actually interacted with one of them because it was one of them was Brazilian apologetic. You remember him?
What?
Yeah.
Name
By the way, I think Brother Maverick at one point had said he thinks that Ninja Dawa is also Muslim apologetic. I came across him on another TikTok, and I don't think it's the same person.
You don't
But
think
he
it's him?
still got
Dude,
cooked.
To me, yeah, he gets cooked. But I'm telling you, his cadence, he sounds just like him to me. I honestly, if I had to put money on it, I would say I think it's him. I obviously could be wrong, but I think it's him. Unless these guys just sound so much alike and they speak alike that they even start to speak like one another. But I'm telling you, I'm like 90% sure it's this guy. I'm almost positive, man.
It's because like a Muslim apologetic's more like that, like British kind of like unrefined accent, but like Ninja Dawa sounds American.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, they started Bible. Did they like just started piling more and more Muslims on the panel, and it just got worse and worse over time for them?
Yeah, that's how that debate went. It was something else. If you want to look at it, you could show them it. You know, they brought up all their old guys.
Yeah,
Like, how do you bring up five guys when I'm talking to one? Like, does that make sense to anybody here? Like, I'm talking to one person originally, and we're having a conversation, and then five more people show up to bring every different point. Like, I just don't like when I go up on panels. What I see is that there are multiple conversations that start happening and they're trying to deflect. Like, I don't want to deflect. I want to stay where we are. Deal with I don't like that. So let's yeah.
I mean, when I say the Prophet Muhammad has better morals than you.
Oh, whoops! That didn't start yet. Are we? Everyone ready? Anything else to say? I
No.
literally started on its own. I don't know what happened there. All right, I'm gonna start it. I don't remember when. Oh, Ninja Dawa. Oh shoot. So then they're probably different persons because this was Ninja Dawa's stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or different people. Yeah. So okay, so then Brazilian is someone else then because he shows up later. Let's start.
No. Oh, so do you think Prophet Muhammad is a good person or a bad person?
I mean, I don't really know too much about him overall. But, I mean, from what I've read, done bad things morally, and I believe that all of us are bad. In my paradigm, I believe all of us are bad people. But if in like a human level, I'd say he's
God's perfect, right? He doesn't make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And God doesn't make anything, and God doesn't do anything bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want you to read this Bible verse for me, okay?
Okay.
And you explain this to me because I've lost my brain cells. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Right, let's read this together.
Okay. Let's
And I mean, we've covered a ton of hadiths on
Bro,
Maverick's
not
channel,
this
even my
one.
channel.
Yo, don't tell me he's using this
Oh, you
verse.
watched
That's
this, Roy?
crazy. Bro,
This is so dumb.
Bro,
This
I
is
have like
dumb.
a 20-page paper on this. What the hell? He's gonna use like I've like read all the arguments for scholarship about this. He's gonna use like some bum argument on it.
Bro, you gotta remember these guys.
Roy, in fact,
with these guys, and I understand how you feel, and you guys can ask Gary and Johnny how I react to these guys, and I do it in their face. I don't. Niceties are not like a huge concern for me. Gary and Johnny will both tell you that when they say something stupid, I treat it like a stupid argument. But you got to remember, brother, that when Muslims look at words, the majority of the time, words don't mean words for them. Words don't mean words for them. When I spoke to when I dog walked the Muslim apologetic the last time, I told him I don't want to hear crap about your hadith. You know why? Because your book, which you claim is holy, says that it is a detailed explanation of all things. And therefore, because it is supposedly the word of God, I don't want a narration from centuries later. I want something from the Quran. You know what he said to me? Yeah, but we don't believe that verse actually means what it says it means. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't believe that the Quran calling itself a detailed explanation of all things means that it's a detailed explanation of all things. What did he try to do? He tried to again go to, I think he tried to go to Ibn Abbas or Al-Tabari. I don't remember who he went to, but you guys have to understand, when you accept the fact that for Muslims, words don't actually mean words, a lot more things will make sense to you. So what we know to be a very silly idea for him to go to this verse, they think it's brilliant. They to them, this is Einstein. So you have to remember that.
No, it's not just them that go to this verse. They're actually just taking all their arguments from like modern critical scholarship. Well, what happens is so what happens is that you have the critical scholars. They'll write something, then that gets distilled at a more popular level to like atheists, right, who like debate online, and then that argument gets distilled further to like the Muslim guys who argue this, because it's not like the primary people that argue this, like not even like I guess you could say like a couple of months ago were like atheists, but then I guess the Muslims just picked it up from them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
so there's some
Muslims,
interesting
Muslims,
comments in
yeah, well,
in the
but
chat.
Muslims, yeah, they do that. They will pick up a lot of arguments from atheists and then try to adapt it to the Muslim paradigm. It doesn't work, but they think it's smart. It was just like when Muhammad Hijab thought it was a good idea to interview Bart Ehrman. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. He
Oh, that was funny.
I didn't understand what the hell he was thinking. He was laughing in Muhammad Hijab's face. He was trying to be nice. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know, actually, I once saw a
Yeah,
Muslim David Hume's arguments against miracles, and he tried to use that against the resurrection.
All right,
I'm
we're
actually
keep going
rendering
here.
out. I'm rendering out the conversation from last night, guys. The one with the word unboxed. It's rendering out.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Mm.
my god.
Mm.
Dude,
you know how many times in
Me
that
rocking
video the
with-
three of us are doing like this? There was times for like 3, 4, 5 minutes straight. That's all we were doing. Straight up clowning in there, dude.
For those who don't know, if you watch the stream on Brother
I've heard
Maverick's
of it.
channel, we were looking at what's his name, the Muslim apologetic. He did something with like he reposted his discussion with a Muslim named Muhammad, who is a Quran only, and then he did this face in the thumbnail. And so Muhammad made a short, and in the short you see Muhammad doing the same thing. So this is just an inside joke now. I'm gonna keep going. Let's get into this here.
You want me to read it? Yep, of course. You can read it if you want. Alrighty, 1 second. Actually, I'll read it for you. So, if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman. By the way, it doesn't say young woman in the Greek; it says young girl. For he has violated her, he can have a divorce. A mistranslation. What? Do you know what it says in the Greek
He's gonna
Septuagint?
reference the Septuagint,
I mean,
but then they don't even have like they don't even take Septuagint as their like primary text for reconstruction. Maybe like at most, if they're arguing against the Eastern Orthodox, you could say that the Septuagint is like the primary text for reconstruction. But even then, there's like other ways out of this verse that they can interpret it basically.
Yeah.
Because like, if I remember correctly, Bible Lover is Protestant, right?
Correct.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Protestants usually will use they're very, I guess you could say they're much more eclectic with their translations. So for the Eastern Orthodox and I guess Catholics to an extent, they'll put more weight on the Septuagint, whereas Protestants will be fine taking from the Septuagint, the Masoretic texts, and the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, and I don't see why they would even bring up that thing in the Septuagint, because that, like the guy said, what do you say, young woman's not in the Greek? That has nothing to do with his point, because his point was on grape. So what is he referencing that for?
Oh, also with the whole young girl thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you see like young girl in like the Greek or I guess even in the Hebrew, wherever they talk about that, right? Typically, when you check the word, it doesn't actually mean like a minor in our sense, but like it'll refer like for example, one of the words they use.
It's like a maiden, like a young maiden, kind of. Yeah.
A maiden, yeah, basically like someone who's unmarried, like basically like that.
Right.
Dude, I need to lock Again, I forgot. There's a normal Greek word for child, and I honestly forgot it. So you guys can flame me for that. I should.
If someone has the LXX Greek, like if they have the Septuagint translation for this passage pulled up, I think Johnny could probably like read it out and figure out which word he thinks
Yeah.
means young girl. If you could like pull that up.
Yeah, I could pull it up right now, but give me a second. I just want to make sure. I just want to
Real
make
real
sure I
quick,
draw
I'll
attention.
respond to one of the comments. So someone says that that the Lord your God is one means that the Trinity is in the Old Testament. Well, if you take the Lord your God is one to its actual conclusion, then you would have to conclude that God has no body parts. Because remember, this is going to be said in opposition to the like pagan cultures around the Israelites. And the issue is if God has body parts and if God has like corporeal like parts at all, like what in what way is God one that like Baal isn't one? Or like that Asherah isn't one, or like any other ancient Near Eastern god. Remember, you have to remember that this is going to be in response to what's it called? Other ancient Near Eastern conceptions. So if God has body parts and he's like basically a copy and paste of the other ancient Near Eastern gods, except like he has his own nation now, well, I don't see how you can make sense of the command that God is one. In fact,
It's
You know what's funny though is that even in the Quran there are times when God is speaking in a plurality, such as Quran 15:9 and 23:18.
yeah, but this person thinks that God is corporeal. That's why I'm responding in that way.
yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that Muslims love to pretend like God can't be a triune God, and they say that they are the ultimate form of monotheism. Okay, great. So then explain why God refers to himself as we, even in your own Quran, on more than one occasion, and you can't give that idiotic excuse about speaking that he's doing it in a to convey majesty and authority, because that style of language didn't exist back then, especially not in classical Arabic. So that explanation doesn't work.
Yeah. To get
Guys,
back with the whole like,
help.
okay. You
Yeah,
need
I'm
to
trying
pull
to
up
pull up
the
the Greek.
Septuagint. So, I guess I
Yeah,
can just
go ahead.
explain the
John,
Hebrew real quick.
you could scroll up and click ABP, the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. That's like the Septuagint
Yeah.
interlinear.
If you want to,
Okay, there we go.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
have my
one.
notes up on me right now, but I can quickly explain the Hebrew when we get back to it. But real quick, I want to see which word in the Greek he's using, because I know you know how to read Greek, so you can see if he's lying.
Even in the Hebrew,
What was
though,
it?
it is different. Like it doesn't actually
Here
mean
we go.
rape in the Hebrew.
Yeah, so the word they'll say is rape is tafas, right? TAFAS is like the transliteration of it. So they'll say that it means to grab, and in this context, it'll mean forceful grabbing. So it's like a word that just means forceful sex, that is rape. The issue with that, the NET footnote, obviously I like using those. It goes into this, but basically, the word, although it means to take, contextually, taking isn't the same thing as forcefully taking. So, like for example, it's used to describe someone taking a harp, or like it can, or you can use the word take to like describe
Yeah,
someone taking your heart. That's not forceful. On
yeah.
top of that, the context, it would be easier if I just got out my notes. So I'm gonna go to my computer right now.
No, I've also dealt with this before, so I know exactly
Yeah,
what you mean. Because like there is a bit of a nuance. The one word is tapas, and the other one is chazak.
yeah,
And I think
Kazakh is not
chazak,
used here.
exactly, chazak is the violent, forceful, sexual taking of a woman, whereas tapas is more of like the seizing of something. So like it's basically saying if a man seizes the young woman, it's kind of like the comparison, or like the way that the word is used in other places is like David taking his harp and seizing it and like using it or skillfully operating it. So it's kind of almost like saying like the man, like he doesn't actually like force himself on the woman. He seizes the woman as in like, he's taken her as a prize. He's effectively seduced her without needing to marry her, and she's given in to him. But then like
Yeah,
when you
because
come
it's
to
very
this,
contextual the way it's defined. Because you can say
yeah,
that, like even in English, right? You can say I seized someone's hearts. I took someone's heart as like, a way to describe seduction. But then you can say I took over the city or I took the king.
as like a way to
Yeah.
describe forceful capture. So it's very context dependent,
And
which is
if
why
I
the
if
word
I
itself doesn't tell you.
and if I could butt in here,
Mm.
like it's weird to me. For there's many things because I'm the one in the video. So there's many things that were weird to me. Firstly, we see in Exodus chapter 22 that this law is given in its original form, and the word used there is seduce. And this same law is now just being reiterated. As we know, Deuteronomy is a reiteration of the original laws. This law is just being reiterated. So I don't see why it's so hard for them to draw that connection, see that visible, clear connection between the original law and this reiteration. And secondly,
Exactly.
I hate one thing I hate that they did is this shotgunning. Because if you notice, while the guy's reading the verse, he mentions that what he mentioned is that young girl, Nahra, that young version is not in the Greek. That's what he says, not in the Greek. And he can make that point, fine. But I don't like that they're shotgunning all these points at once. Because how are we supposed to have a conversation when everybody's bringing something different at the same time? Like I don't like that. Like if his point is on the word for grape, let's stick to that. Let's deal with that, and then we can go to something else. But if you notice during the conversation, they'll multiple times start mentioning these different things. Even the Greek. Why are you mentioning the Greek? The Septuagint. The Septuagint. Based on the historical information we know about the Septuagint was commissioned by one of the Greek emperors or the Roman leaders to translate the Hebrew into Greek for those who lived in Judea during that first century, late BC period, first century period, who transitioned from Hebrew to Aramaic and that Greek language. So even the Septuagint itself was based on the Hebrew text. So why they bring up the Septuagint to act like the Septuagint's an authority over the Hebrew? That makes no sense to me. The Hebrew itself
Yeah.
isn't a authority of the Septuagint. It's not the other way around. The Greek is translated off the Hebrew. So
Right.
we should use the Hebrew to understand the Greek, not the Greek to understand the Hebrew. That makes no sense. So
Right.
I don't know what they were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
I think what they were trying to do is say, well, the Septuagint is earlier, so we should use that. They probably should have started with that because that was a really awkward way to start. Oh, can you show me where in the Greek Septuagint it says that? What? Where'd you get
Yeah,
if I didn't know the argument, I wouldn't have known why the heck they were bringing it up in the first place. And Bible Lover, I don't know if you knew the argument then, so you were probably confused when they said, "Oh, where's it in the Greek Septuagint?" Like, dude,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
All right, you got to explain your points here, right?
Yeah.
So, I think the thing with them, machine gunning stuff, piling stuff, and I try not to do that as best as I can when I'm on with people on a panel. And Brother Matt, if you remember yesterday, there was that Muslim that had that conversation with Word Unpacked. When he started speaking, he was going through different. I don't remember how many passages he brought up. I was literally typing away, just getting ready to respond. But he goes to Genesis 17, to Deuteronomy 18, to Deuteronomy 33, to Isaiah 42, to John 14, to 1 John, I think. He goes all over, and he's trying to go making like a 10-minute opening statement almost. And it was like, dude, I don't think he meant that because some people do it like to try to trap you. I think he was just trying to make like a little opening statement there. But when they do that, like typically it's to just pile things on you. And so that, now you can't respond because he's just, look at all this information. How can he respond? So, and if I remember correctly, when you brought this up, in Exodus 22, when it says seduce, they didn't want to go there because that they literally throws this whole argument under the bus. It's the same law. Remember, Deuteronomy is second law. Deuteros nomos, second law. So we have this is the parallel in Exodus where the law is given. If a man seduces a virgin, this is NET, but this is a good translation, who is not engaged and goes to bed with her, he must surely pay the marriage price for her to be his wife. Right? So it uses the explicit word in this context to seduce, versus in Deuteronomy, it uses a similar word, but it has the same connotation, to seize. And you can say that
To
about
seize, yeah.
David seizing the harp, someone seizing your heart, things like that. That is not literally you're forcing them with physical force, as you pointed out multiple times to them in that whole discussion, but they didn't actually deal with it. They dismissed it, and they didn't want to go to this cross-reference, the same law, which calls it seduction. If a man seduces a virgin.
Because the way I learned to reconcile this strictly from the Hebrew because I'd like learned the differences between tapas and chazak. And I know that tapas was used with like the David example, whereas chazak was used with when Absalom and Tamar had that whole encounter, and the word chazak was strictly used when he forcefully overpowered her and laid with her. And that was just kind of how I showed the context. But like Roy, from your side, from like a Septuagint angle, like I would be really interested to see what the Greek kind of reconciliation to that looks like.
We got Chris Oki here. What's going on, Chris?
Hi. Not much. Just thought I'd make a comment about the Septuagint and why I think they go back to it. I think one of the reasons they go back and compare the Septuagint to the Hebrew is because that gives us a glimpse as to what they thought the Hebrew meant pre-Jesus. Because language changes over time, so it's hard to get a perspective on what it meant. And whilst they don't finally accept exactly all of the Septuagint, it at least gives us a window into another time period of interpretation.
Right. Roy, did you want to comment more on that, on the Septuagint, or are you ready to keep going?
If you ever found the word he was referring to where he said it meant a little girl, then I think you should just
Paida, right here.
Oh, yeah, if you can pull it up, that'll be cool.
Oh, wait, I didn't pull it up. 1 second.
I just realized I do have a whole slideshow dedicated to this topic because Dan McClellan brings it up, and I have a response prepared to him that's coming out, and Johnny's working on it with me. That's going to come out eventually.
Are you going to debate him?
Dude, Dan doesn't debate people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't. Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say yes, because Dan won't. He talks a lot, but that guy won't. I've been trying to debate him for years, and he won't. He doesn't even answer. Yeah, he doesn't. He won't answer.
That's pretty fun.
Dan does not answer. I gave up on that guy a long time ago.
He's not gonna.
So Roy,
Dan said in one of his things, faith is ignoring the evidence before you.
I think Dan is low-key kind of he chimps out a lot, and he has very little substance to his arguments. He's also a sophist, class A sophist. Anyways, go on, Johnny.
Oh yeah. So the word paida, right? Versus there's the typical word for child, teknon, or tekna if you're going into the feminine gender, I believe. This is a different word, which would just mean young. I guess it can mean in certain contexts child, but it typically just means young or youthful. So in this context, I think it's sort of being used as an adjective, kind of, because
youthful can refer to yeah, but youthful can refer to anyone under, let's say, the age of 22. I can say my little brother is youthful, and then I can say that I don't know, some guy in his 20s is youthful. That doesn't mean the word youthful itself implies being a minor in any context. It's just something that's applicable to them.
Right. And if I could also add, Johnny, young Christian, if you could open up the definitions, the definitions for the word used for virgin there, which is, let me try to, because I'm not a Greek speaker, so I ain't got it, the vernacular key, but what does it say? Parthenos or something like that? No, not this one. Go to the word, because child is the child, girl, boy, servant. That's the definition given for child. So one thing we know is that words are to be understood within their context, right? That's how you can understand the word. A lot of words in Greek, especially Greek, can mean multiple things. You have to understand them within their context. So you see this word, he opened up the definitions for this word for virgin. Because what I mentioned to them is that the word, I think I mentioned this to them, or I mentioned this in the video. But this word here, according to the definitions given for it, is what qualifies how child, or the word used for quote unquote child, is being used there. Because look at the Helps Word Studies definition. Scroll down a little bit. Let's look at Helps Word Studies.
Oh, there we go.
How they define it. Properly a virgin, a woman who has never had sexual relations, a female beyond puberty but not yet married, believers when they are pure. So we see these definitions given for this word. So what I mentioned to them is that when they paired the pais, that word for girl or boy, with this word, again, adding this in context in light of the Hebrew text. It was just saying the same thing. A young virgin, that's the same thing as the Hebrew. A young virgin girl who is not betrothed, not yet engaged, not yet married, who is manipulated. So her mind is seized, her mind is captivated, she's seduced by a man and sleeps with him. So even if the Greek, as I was saying originally, the Greek is to be understood in the Hebrew, and the Greek doesn't disagree with my position and our position here. It doesn't disagree. So it just comes when you're being incredibly uncharitable of the text and you're trying to force your views on it. All these things, like it doesn't hold up. Like you don't even need to really continue the video if these guys want to go on something else. Like we see it here. The argument falls flat. It's as simple as that. It falls flat. You know.
Yeah, I want to move on in a second. I just want to get that part where you start talking to Brazilian, because I know Brother Maverick's gonna like that part. He's experienced Brazilian already. And yeah, so let's see here. I think this is
okay.
it.
Therefore,
Oh, this is it. This is it. So, hold on, let me play it back just a little bit because I think he joined. Let's see. Let's go here.
A virgin, or a woman who has never had sexual relations in the green part, a female virgin beyond puberty, right? So you have to understand the Greek in light of the Hebrew that in.
Yeah, I believe that. He defined rape as rape is physically forcing yourself on someone else. Okay, therefore, physically forcing someone. 1 second. Physically forcing somebody, and that is going to be rape, yes? Yes. Okay, keep reading.
And if any should find the child virgin, whoever was not espoused, and using force on her, he went to bed with her.
Okay, wait, say that. 1 second. Using force in where?
On her, and he went to bed with her.
Okay, 1 second. And now using force on her while also being in bed with her is what? What is that?
In the physical sense, would be rape.
Oh, good. Okay, 1 second. So it's referring to rape.
So no, because when it says using force, it's talking in a figurative sense of manipulation, which I showed you is how the word should be defined.
In the context,
like you guys don't understand. I showed you this already.
Are you so
this is originally Hebrew. Am I wrong? Like, yes. So the context shows, for example, that previously it talked about how grape is a killable offense. If you meet a young woman in the country who's betrothed.
Yeah, again, there's this context.
So you could go on, but I can't respond. I want to respond.
Because again, I just said that the term itself is contextually dependent. And throughout the context, it's referring to force on the children. You agree?
I believe in regards to the context, it's talking about using force on children.
Wait, for example, go off this.
You just read Deuteronomy in the Greek Septuagint, and it said,
I don't know if that's where it all caps off there, but I think we've exhausted the point of the Septuagint already, and how he's been pointing out in this whole discussion, the way the word's being used is in the sense of not a physical sense, but a more metaphorical sense, like seizing the mind, right? So even if we run with a Greek Septuagint, we could still run that argument that the forcing is in the sense of like David seizing the harp. Right, because I believe if you actually click that word, and I'm gonna pull this up. I'm just gonna double check.
It is, yeah. I can send you some resources on that quick. Actually, you already have the slides if you just want to pull them up.
That's good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you can do that. If you want. I'm trying to find.
You have the link, so you'll have to do it. Because I'm on mobile right now. If you go to slide 109 of the Dan McClellan response, you'll see that's where that chapter starts. If you want to just pull that up, I can give like a quick presentation here.
All right.
Hey guys, I'm gonna keep listening and I'm gonna just hop off, all right? But I'm gonna keep listening in, all right? Johnny, again, congrats, all right?
All right, thank you, Bible lover. Thank you for tuning in. Go subscribe. Subscribe to everyone on the panel, all right? Subscribe to everyone on the panel if you haven't already. Thank you, Bible lover, or Glenn. we usually call each other like young Christian and Bible lover, so that's. But anyways, let me find the slide. If I can find the link, actually.
One thing I always find funny with this whole section is it says if the family want, the person has to pay the dowry and then marry the girl. So if this was a forced rape, how many families are going to go, oh yeah, let's force her to keep getting raped?
Very little. I mean, on top of that, the verse right before this, actually, like the stipulation, like discussed right before this, straight up says that rapists are to be executed. So I mean, here's the thing, right? Let's just say you want to concede for the sake of argument that it's about rape. At most, that would just make it a transfer of money, because what you have is you have the perpetrator marrying the woman, then he gives the dowry, and then he's just executed by the law right above. So it would just be a transfer of money. Yeah, and this is if you concede that it's about rape, which I'm not saying we should.
Yeah. But they always,
Which
they always
why are we
badly.
accusing Bust Down of
Sorry.
being a troll? What did that man do?
what?
I don't know.
Wait.
Bust Down is getting accused of being a troll. What did he do?
Well, what are we doing here, man? Bust Down is chill. What?
Yeah, what did Bust Down do? Loki, why isn't he on the panel?
What did he do, man? Yeah, why? What are you doing here, Bust Down? Join up.
Join up.
You guys are yelling at him for being a troll. Should yell at him for not joining up the panel. Anyways, which slide was it? I'm a civilian.
It's 109. Once you just go to 109, and then we can just continue down. I mean, I guess we're kind of leaking it early, but like the project is probably never gonna get out for like a while, so we might as well just have it.
Yeah, all right. Oh, someone's working on it right now. Looks like. Who is
That's
this?
me, probably.
Oh, it's external. Anyways, let me see. Let me share this. I don't know. There's a way to present here. Slideshow,
It's like
right?
slideshow. Yeah. Oh wow, we're
There we go. Okay.
Is there a way to like remove everyone's?
Oh, let me
like,
get rid of the.
head? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of everyone's head. All right. So basically, right, this was a response to like Dan McClone. So I'm just gonna quickly and this is probably where this guy is getting his arguments from too, right? So let's just first steelman his argument. So firstly, he says that Deuteronomy 22:23-24 involves a case in which a man finds a woman in the city and sleeps with her, and the woman does not cry out for help, but both are put to death because both engage in evil. However, consent is not assumed here because the man finding her in the city implies assault. Deuteronomy 22:26 does not equate the offense of rape as being as bad as murder. In verse 27, the woman is crying out. The woman crying out is presupposed. It's assumed that a woman in the field did cry out whilst the woman in. Oh damn! I messed up the typing on that. Remember, this is work in progress, so there's probably going to be some errors in here. So basically, his argument here is that it shows a lack of awareness of sexual assault because it just assumes that if a woman didn't consent, then she would cry out, and that's one of Dan McClone's argument. Remember that I'm just steelmanning his arguments right now. I'm not actually giving my own takes. Then he says that Tophus in Deuteronomy 28-29, Deuteronomy 22:28-29 refers to the woman being seized, which has the same connotation as rape, or it just means the same thing. And when the object of Tophus is a person, it refers to forceful action. And he cites Pressler, 1994. In fact, funny enough, when this was before I actually read McClellan's book on this, I read Pressler's article for that one paper I was talking about because I was just looking into as much scholarship as I could find on the topic, and then McClellan just decides to cite the one that I actually read, which is pretty funny because I can't lie, I didn't really like Pressler's article. I feel like it argued the points pretty badly.
Need the next slide?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and he says that certain passages describe it as a forceful act. And then, so basically, since he cites Pressler, and since I've actually read her, I'm just gonna lay out her claims, and I'm gonna respond to both now. After there's one more slide of Steel Manning after this. So first, she says the offenses that occur in Deuteronomy 22:25-30 involve the lack of consent is not relevant to the condemnation in her view. The Bible just doesn't care about the lack of consent. It's considered with other things. And then she says the offenses are against the husband and father, not against the consent. Then she says the verb entails force, which is just what Dan McClellan said, except now she adds Numbers 5:13 as justification. Then she says the man must marry the woman under the stipulation in Deuteronomy 22:28-29. Then she says, if the redactors of this passage wanted to distinguish between the case of an unbetrothed woman who consents to sexual relationships and an unbetrothed woman who resists, it is likely that they would have included an alternate case as they did in the case of the betrothed woman. This conclusion is motivated for her by the fact that other law codes did the same, And then she says that Deuteronomy 25, 11 to 12 cuts a woman's hand off simply because she touched a genital, nothing more. I mean, technically that's not related to her topic, but she claims it, so I'll just respond anyways. So if you go to the next slide real quick.
Second, there we go.
All right, so then McClellan says the phrase "they are found" has no relevance here. It doesn't prove that both participated in the act willingly. It just means that like one isn't guilty. He'll basically say that "they are found" doesn't entail that both are guilty or that both participated in the act. And we're gonna look at that in the next few slides, obviously. Then he says that the woman is forced to marry the rapist because it was thought that women were the property of men. Then he says that Exodus describes a similar scenario where a woman consents to have sex with a man. But apologists so this actually goes into what you guys were saying. So this is how McClellan responds. You know how you guys were saying that Deuteronomy 22, 20 to 29 is just a restatement of a previous law in Exodus. I remember Bible Lover.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Bible Lover said it.
Yeah, so this is how Dan McClellan would respond. He's just saying that we're assuming univocality, and that we can't assume univocality, and that we can't just assume that they're about the same things. I don't know if I have the response to that written down. I mean, I obviously just know what it is off the top of my head, so if I don't have it written down, I'll just respond to it later once I'm done with it. All right, so if you go to the next slide. Yo, Johnny. Yeah, okay. So first of all, he kind of just assumes that the usage of found. So in Deuteronomy 22, I think it's verses 25 all the way up to 28. He assumes that the usage of found implies lack of consent. He doesn't justify that. That's just his presupposition. And he doesn't give an argument as to why Deuteronomy 22, 26 doesn't equate rape with murder. You can just read the passage. It says, "But if the man came across the engaged woman in the field and overpowered her and raped her, then only the rapist must die. You must not do anything to the young woman. She has done nothing deserving of death. This case is the same as when someone attacks another person and murders them. For the man met her in the field and the engaged woman cried out, but there was no one to rescue her." So notice how it just says this case is the same. It makes an equivalence relation in terms of like I guess you could say the gravity in terms of the morality of the situation or the immorality in this case. It equates the two by saying that these two are the same level of immorality. So that's just what the text says. Like I don't see how Dan McClellan can get out this, and he doesn't really like. I don't really see him arguing how you can get out of this. And similarly, I don't even think the Muslim had this on his mind when he argued this, because he's just getting this off the top of he's probably just getting it distilled from the atheists who argue this, as I said before. On top of that, right, the fact that Deuteronomy 22, 26 says that rape is as bad as murder, that's admitted by scholars who say that Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29 is about rape. It's like Matthew Lynch in his 2020 book on the violence in the Hebrew Bible is going to say that, yeah, Deuteronomy 22, 26 says that rape is as bad as murder, and that causes some problems with his interpretation, in my opinion. But he'll say that the evidence for Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29 being about rape overrules the consideration of this. I personally don't think so, which I'm going to argue in the future. Regardless, right? Prima facie, given this passage, you can infer that any text posterior to this, especially if it's 4 verses down, this is the next few sentences, remember. You're not going to expect them to just say that, oh yeah, the rapist can just get off for free and get married to the rapist and get married to the victim, right? You're not going to expect that given this verse. So any interpretation of the next few verses that is going to be in contention with that is automatically going to have a lower probability just because of this.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah, there's a couple for these.
This actually sounds a lot like Muslim context. You can't take the verse before it. That's not taking it in context. We need to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right.
Yeah.
So
I could really quick.
This is actually
Yeah. That's actually what they did with Bible Lover, because they went directly to the context and then they just dismissed it. But go ahead.
Yeah, so this is actually a quote from Matthew Lynch. Once again, Matthew Lynch actually disagrees with me, but even he's gonna push back on what these guys are saying. In fact, his interpretation, right, which I think would be, if you're gonna take the passage to be about rape, I think his interpretation is one of the better ones, whereas I feel like the way like McClellan argues it and that the Muslim guy's arguing is very uncharitable to the text. I don't really see scholars making that harsh of a judgment besides, like, I guess, Pressler. Now, what he says, what Lynch says, is that first, Deuteronomy draws out behavioral patterns between two violent acts. This rape case is the same as when a man rises up against a neighbor and murders him. The man has risen up against a woman and debased her. The law of premeditated murder, as 2226 suggests, does indeed follow the same pattern. If a man hates his neighbor, lies in wait for him, and then rises up against him and strikes him down. Both cases involve rising up and striking down a victim. Moreover, the woman cries out in distress, as victims of violence are often said to do. In addition, Deuteronomy 22:25 highlights violent forcefulness of the man's act with the verb. I can't read Hebrew, right? I forgot what that word was off the top of my head. My apologies. But second, there are locational parallels. The man has allegedly found the woman alone in the field and seized and laid with her, according to 22:25. The presumption is that the premeditated murder similarly preys on the vulnerability of someone who becomes separated from their sphere of protection. In this case, out in the field. The legal scenario in Deuteronomy 19 and 22 finds a narrative example in the story of Dinah, who went out to visit the daughters of the land. The assumption is that her going out separated her from the male sphere of Jacob's family. Shechem then saw her, obviously alone or with women, and took her, laid with her, and thereby debased her. Though the story does not mention Dinah crying out, and in fact she is silent throughout the whole story, the act of subjugating highlights the violent results of Shechem's act. Debasement is a kind of sociosomatic death, usually involving the physical abuse of forced sex and the social abuse of failing to marry, though in this case he sought to marry. It also brought shame on the woman's husband or father, depending on her marital status, threatening to issues like inheritance, the reputation, and the like. Now, I actually disagree on Lynch on this last part when it comes to debasement, but I don't know if we get into that here, because that gets into a separate argument. And I have a video planned on this, so I might just leave that saved for that video.
Raph
All right.
said, "Come on, man."
I couldn't help myself.
Oh, next slide.
Yeah. So the argument that Deuteronomy 22:27 displays a lack of awareness because it assumes a woman will cry out fails because it just assumes that the Torah describes rigid laws where the scenarios and punishment are like all meant to be universally applicable. So, like, for example, right, the Torah is meant to give you a general guideline. It's not meant to be a rigid law code like how Western law codes are. And this point is made by like Hayes in 2012, John Walton in 2006, and well, we mentioned this in chapter 7, which I'm not going to leak chapter 7, but we go into that here. Basically, Old Testament law should not be treated as a Western law code. So, like, for example, when it speaks about how if the woman didn't cry out, that implies that she consented. The whole point of this is to get the jurist to understand how the legal process is meant to work. It's meant for judicial wisdom, and this is going to be covered in the full review when we do it. But basically, these laws are not necessarily like prescriptive, but rather they're descriptive. So they're describing what a traditional or typical scenario would look like, and using that to teach jurists about how to apply the law of the Lord, right? So these are just hypothetical scenarios in which we're extracting judicial wisdom from. Whereas McClellan's view is like this rigid view where no exceptions are going to be made for a woman who is like abused and yet didn't scream. This assumes a very rigid view of the Torah, which we get into in chapter 7, which I think is the one on slavery. Now, for the next point, the NET footnote actually responds to McClellan's claim about Tuffus, which it's in the next slide if you want to go there.
There we go.
Yeah, so in Deuteronomy 22:28, this is the translation that they have. So the verb tafas means to seize or grab. In all other examples, this action is done against another person's will, as in being captured, arrested, attacked, or grabbed with insistence. So it may be that the man is forcing himself on her, which leads to the NIV to translate this as rape. Although it is a neutral euphemism for sexual relations. Remember what I said about how it's context dependent? Well, that gets into it here.
Yeah.
If I say something like, I took the king, or I took the city, context is going to dictate that's forceful. But if I say I took her heart or I took the woman, that's not necessarily forceful right there. And then the NET footnote continues. However, this is only the case where the object is a woman and the verb also refer Okay, I'm sorry. It says, however, this is the only case, meaning that there's no other case like this in the rest of the text, where the woman and the verb also refers to holding or handling of objects such as musical instruments. So it is possible that it has a specialized but otherwise unattested, nuanced reading regarding sexual or romantic relations, as is true of other expressions. And the reason why we should take this view, it has to do with the prior context, as discussed prior, right? Deuteronomy 22:26 already mandates the death penalty, so given this, it's going to be highly unlikely that Deuteronomy 22:28 is just going to let the rapist go. Given that this is just, remember, this is two verses down. Even if you want to say the Bible is contradictory, people don't just say contradictory things back to back, especially on a written text that they spent like years preparing. So the idea that the text would just go back on itself like two sentences later is very improbable. Now, if you go to the next one, they actually give more contextual reasons as to why this isn't about rape. So they say several contextual clues point away from rape and toward a consensual relationship. One, the verb which seems to express force is different from the verb of force in the rape case of verse 25. So in verse 25, right, to give some context, there's actually a case of rape discussed, and it uses a completely different word. I believe what was his name? Someone mentioned it on here.
Chazak.
Yeah. It was you. You talked about this where the verb
Yeah.
is different. If it's going to be the same scenario, you'd expect the same verb. Then two, the context distinguishes consequences based on whether the girl cried out, an expression of protest and a basis for distinguishing consent or force. But this case law does not mention her outcry, which would have clarified a forceful act. While part of what is unique in this case is that the girl is not engaged, it is reasonable to expect the issue of consent to continue to apply. Once again, this gets back into the context where rape is equated with murder. Three, the penalty is less than that of a man who slanders his new wife, and certainly less than the sentence for rape. You wouldn't expect that unless, this wasn't rape. Four, the expression, and they were discovered at the end of verse 28 uses the same wording as the expression in verse 22, which involves a consensual act. And we're going to get into that later, actually. Five, although from a separate context, the account of the rape of Dinah seems to express the Pentateuch's negative attitude toward forcible rape, not in advocating for Simon and Levi's actions, but in the condemnation included in the line Genesis 34:7, because he has done a disgraceful thing in Israel. This is a very indictment, like in verse 21, against the consenting woman, because she has done a very disgraceful thing in Israel. The penalty of not being allowed to divorce her in verse 19 sounds like where the man is being punished for disgracing his wife, not for rape.
Yeah.
His attempted divorce fails, and he must provide for her thereafter. The probable point of not being allowed to divorce her. Here too, if his holding her is not forced, but instead he has seduced her, he is not allowed to claim that his new wife is not pure, since he is the culprit, and so he must take responsibility for her, cannot divorce her, and must provide for her as a husband. Now, actually, Matthew Lynch takes a similar view where he says that it's about rape, but the reason for the marriage has to do with the social norms making the marriage necessary, because without it, she wouldn't be able to live basically, because she would have needed a husband. But if no husband was found, then and he justifies this because it's kind of like he's trying to harmonize verses 26 and 28 and 29, because verse 26 has a very negative view of rape, but then he thinks that verses 28 to 29 kind of just let the guy go free. So he's trying to harmonize those in my reading. At least that's what I got from his book. He does appear in an interview, which I haven't watched, so maybe he clarifies it there. But I don't really find his harmonization there pretty convincing. I think it's just more convincing to just deny that it's about rape. All right, next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah. My bad for taking up a bunch of time with this, but I feel like this just summarizes the debate, though, because Bible lovers in the chat.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is
All right.
this is supposed to be Imago Logos, collabing here. So you take as much time as you need.
All right. So now Pressler in her 1994 chapter makes roughly 6 claims that I think I should respond to. The first 2 conclusions she makes are contingent upon the claim that Deuteronomy 22:25 is 25 to 30 is only about rape. The argument given that both involve a woman not consenting, however, a different punishment is applied. The different punishment, in her view, is due to the damage caused to the man, not because of the lack of consent. This argument, which establishes conclusion 1 and 2, is ultimately determined by the claim that Deuteronomy 22:28-29 is about rape. So basically, she's assuming kind of the conclusion or the thing that's being contested in one of her conclusions to try and establish the thing being contested, which seems a bit circular to use her and incite her. Now, we can respond to her third point by saying that the verb tophos is not used to refer to the rape, even in Numbers 5:13. For starters, she gives no citations for this. Second, the verb in the latest translations is translated as caught in the acts, like in the NET, NIV, ISV, and NASB. Some of these translations actually translate Deuteronomy 22:28-29 to be about rape. So, I would also expect them to translate Numbers 5:13 about rape the same to be about rape if that passage used tophos like that. And you can't just argue that Numbers 5:13 must be translated in a way which connotates rape just based on the basis of the usage of the word tophos. To do this would just be to assume that tophos refers to rape necessarily, but that's just begging the question.
Next slide.
Yeah. So Pressler's fourth conclusion is that basically the marriage is forced, but actually Block and Currid go over this, but no, the law would have given the option for like the father to just reject the marriage, which actually I think someone here went over, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
I think you did, honestly. I don't.
No, it was Sahi Christian, right?
Oh my goodness, Amir, please hit the link. I've been waiting for. I'm sorry, Roy, but
Yeah, I'll continue
go
real
ahead.
quick.
No,
Drop the slideshow. Let's go.
Yeah. So basically, right, they have the option to reject the marriage proposal, and even McClellan agrees that the father can refuse the marriage. So Pressler's fifth claim is simply just an argument from silence, and plus just refer to the fact that legal treatises in the ancient Near East, which includes the Torah, would not be systematic or rigid. Furthermore, arguments from silence can be made from both sides of the debate, given that Winfield, who we're going to quote later, also makes an argument from silence. So you're going to need a symmetry breaker to explain which argument from silence to take. And her sixth conclusion is unfounded. Webb, in his 2011 book about violence in the Hebrew Bible, has argued that basically the passage that punishes a woman, it's about damaging a man's testicles where he can't reproduce anymore. So it's about sexual assault. Basically, it's a punishment for sexual assault. Next slide.
Next slide.
All right, this is the last one. So, contrary to McClellan's, the usage of "they are found" is actually relevant here. So, this is what Moshe Winfield says. Also, who's typing?
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, okay.
I'll stop.
Yeah. So, firstly, the phrase "and they were found" in Deuteronomy 22:28 implies that both parties committed the act willingly and that the maiden was not forced. There is indeed nothing about the verse that says they're forced. And he justifies this claim by saying that the verb denotes that the malefactors were apprehended. And he quotes Jeremiah 50:24, "You were found and caught," Proverbs 6:31, and the Septuagint. And then he says that the Septuagint reads this verb in the singular, but there's no reason to prefer the Greek to the Masoretic. So that actually gets into what the guy was arguing, where he tried to argue Masoretic primacy.
Oh, wait, next slide.
No. So finally, if the Torah has a unity in authorship, then it's fair to assume univocality, right? So this gets back to one of his points that, you can't use Exodus as the background to this law because you're just assuming univocality. But even if we assume that the Torah isn't united in authorship, if we want to find out the intentions of the authors of the Torah as we have it today, then the Torah is still one singular text by a redactor or a group of redactors with specific intentions behind the text. And thus, it's still fair to assume univocality when interpreting the complete and final form of the text. I also have a lot of epistemic problems with this whole "you're just assuming univocality" stuff. I'm probably going to make a video about it eventually, but that's all I have right now for Deuteronomy 22:28-29.
Oh, that sound effect was a lot less. Okay, I tried to do like an applause sound effect, but the StreamYard sucks apparently with that. There you have it, folks. Deuteronomy 22:28-29. Whole presentation. You're going to see this whole slideshow eventually. we gotta work. Like I'm honest, I gotta lock in on the slideshow. I have stuff I gotta get done on that, but we're working on it. Hopefully, we can get it done soon enough. It's a response to Dan McClellan's book. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was saying so far it's 214 slides in total.
All right. Bust down says, bro, it sounded like someone was blowing their nose. Yeah, StreamYard, man. I thought it was gonna be like it's what was it saying? It said applause intense. That was like the weakest applause I've ever seen or ever heard. Dude, StreamYard, man, you gotta lock in. All right. I guess for now, dude, Khan, like Amir, I was waiting for him to show up, and apparently he's at work. Like, come on, man. But anyways, for the time being, I guess for the rest of the stream, we're gonna react to my discussion for a little bit with Aladdin on the crucifixion. And I want you guys to give your.
Oh, actually, you go first, then I'll explain what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I want you guys to be. I think Brother Maverick and Grafted are away, and Real Faith. By the way, I don't know if you're there, but welcome to the panel. But I want you guys to give like. Oh, there you. Yeah. I want you guys to, and I saw your email, by the way. I sorry I didn't see it at the time when you sent it, but I responded now, so we can talk about that later. But I want you guys to give like an unbiased, like don't just glaze me. Like if I make a mistake, point it out. If I cook them, point it out. I want you guys to be unbiased about that. What were you gonna say, Roy?
Yes, I was gonna say, does the Muslim guy, the debate we were reviewing, does he actually bring up anything outside of my presentation? Because like I have more on this topic because I didn't like I didn't bring all the material I had because I have some stuff just in my notes that what's it called that I just didn't give the slideshow. If there's anything else he brought up in the debate that I didn't cover in my presentation, I can just debunk that real quick before we move on.
Lagging?
I don't think he did.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, never mind. Okay, you were lagging for like a second. I don't know. Yeah, you were lagging for a second.
Okay.
Pull up what Bust Down said in the comments. That's pretty funny.
What's up?
Dude, he's hiding his power. Oh my goodness.
Khan ain't gonna hit the link, bro. What's up with Khan, man?
Yeah, apparently he's at work or something, man. Come on, man.
Come
what are we
on,
doing
man.
here?
Yo,
what are we doing?
why can't Bust Down?
Khan, you did that last time when you and me were debating, bro. You said you tried to make a statement and you said I got to go to a meeting, and then the other time you said I don't have the sources. I'll be right back. That was like 2 months ago, bro. I'm still waiting for you to come back.
It is not work time in Pakistan. What time is it in Pakistan right now? Oh, wait a minute. It's 2:44 a.m. in Pakistan. What do you want about talking about some meeting, bro? Who are you trying to fool with some meeting, bro? It's 2:44 a.m. in Pakistan. You trying to tell me about some meeting?
How do you know he don't work midnights, bro? You don't know.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know he was grinding out the Christian live streams on his night shift, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
Man,
okay, but no,
he wants to support the algorithm. He just wants to get the engagement up. You know, he's dedicated.
Bro, this guy's like at the Five Nights at Freddy's location, like monitoring everything at like 2 a.m. bro. I didn't know he was still like that.
He got the FNAF shift.
Yeah, he got the FNAF shift from 12 to 6 a.m. bro. That's crazy. I didn't know he was built like that.
That's that morning prayer
Bonnie
shift.
I said hi. Tell Bonnie I said hi.
Yeah. Watch out for Chica, man, or Freddy, or Foxy, man. I don't. Anyway, so I don't think the Muslim said anything else. I don't think he said anything else really, because as the discussion progressed, they weren't really dealing with what he said. They kind of just their whole argument hinged upon the Greek Septuagint and ignoring the immediate context, and then the Exodus 22 passage, and then just calling Bible Lover a clown or whatever, just ad hominem attacks. So they didn't really go to the level that you just went right here. So we can move on to. We're probably going to finish the stream on this because Khan is apparently in his Five Nights at Freddy's shift. I don't know where the heck Aladdin is. I sent an atheist the link. I guess he didn't catch it because he was saying things about me, discussing fairy tales. So I sent him the link to join, but whatever. We'll finish on this.
You know what you could do?
When they start dropping the fairy tales line, that's usually as far as they're gonna go.
Yeah.
They're not trying to have a real discussion.
What were you gonna say, Grafted? Or Sahih Christian?
So, yeah. So with my Sahih visuals, it's very important. So, what Cove if I don't know how to pronounce that, but like what he did is when he went live with Aladdin, they immediately went and like reposted the live and tagged us in the post, because that's how like the people become aware of it. So you could still try doing that. I don't know if he's online though, but yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm telling you, I think that, and not because you guys know you guys know that I don't give overdue credit where it's not due. I give credit where it's due. But I can tell you that Muslims, what we are learning to do now, Muslims have been doing for a long time. That is, they run in packs. They run in their own little Discord servers, right? If a Dawa guy, if a popular Dawa guy puts out instruction, they pretty much will follow it. And that's probably why it's so much harder for us lately to get calls from these Muslims. Because if you guys notice, like when I first started, I couldn't keep up with the amount of calls I was getting. Like there was guys 2, 3, 4, 5 Muslims in the chat when I was ending, and I was like, "You're gonna have to call back next time." Now, we're struggling, and I was like, "Well, I'm not very known, so that doesn't bother me." But then I was looking at God Logic, the Word and I, Bear. They're struggling to get people to call in now. Look at Gary's face.
We're gonna watch the discussion. I promise. But I just wanna.
I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've done this.
Yo, what is the context?
This is my revenge for trolling me earlier in the stream. What did you say, Roy?
What is the context behind this photo? What? What justifies this hooligan?
I think Aladdin asked him like, where is the divine will in Scripture? And then
What? Is that what? Where is divine will in Scripture? Are we serious?
Christ's divine will, because we were talking about it, and then.
Yeah, bro. Also, what's up? Analytical Alchemist is in the chat. I know him. He's cool.
We got some cool people, dude. I'm waiting for
the link is in the stage if you want to come up. By the way, the link is in the description.
Yeah,
my bad.
I mean it's free to Christians or non-Christians, to both. Like, bust down. We told you to join, but you didn't.
Nah, you gotta make them pages, yeah.
You got homework to do.
He has homework. Oh, okay. All right, then do your homework. All right. I have a wait. Oh, wrong one. I have a screenshot of an auto-generated thumbnail on Maverick stream. Let's just say it did great. Logan, send me that after.
You know what though? The thing is that Gary is very expressive. He's a very calm guy, but when you say something dumb, he makes those faces.
It's
so
true.
It doesn't surprise me that YouTube clips up, because YouTube will auto detect like facial expressions and stuff. And that's the thing, is that I've noticed that a lot too. Like when YouTube auto generates 4 or 5, at least 3 of them will have Gary looking like he's smelling something real funky. Like, well, like what the hell did this dude just say? Like he's staring at his own camera like somebody owes him child support. That's how
guys, my friend has actually noticed this as well. If you look at like the earliest like videos on my YouTube, which are just shorts that I like migrated over from like Instagram at the time before I made my YouTube account, like YouTube picked out the worst moments on my face as the thumbnails. Like if you just go on my YouTube channel, you'll just see I look like.
And you know what? I hate that. I hate that because in the early days of YouTube Shorts, in the early days of YouTube Shorts, I was still doing gaming content, and in those days, you could actually make thumbnails for your shorts just like you could your long form videos. And then at some point, they did away with that, and they still haven't fixed it. But I don't think you get penalized really for not having a good thumbnail for your YouTube short. But sometimes, like Gary said, when you look at what YouTube picks for the thumbnail, you're like literally like one eye open, your tongue halfway out your mouth. Like I don't know why they had to do you like that, man. This is Zara Gray says this is why I don't share my face. I saw
That he sent it in the Discord.
Oh, which Discord?
He sent it in the Discord.
Discord.
Yours.
Oh no! Discord.
Oh,
Which one? Which one? You sent it at Thunderdome? No, that's vile.
Oh man, I don't even want to.
Oh my gosh. Grafted, I'm gonna spare you, but other people might not be so nice.
How is that even the thumbnail?
Yo.
Guys, did you see that video Logan made earlier?
That face is like when somebody blew a fart and you don't want to say nothing. Bang, come here. You gotta look at this face that Gary's making in a stream for whatever reason. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Bro,
Like,
somebody took a screenshot of one of my live streams and they caught Gary doing his face. Doesn't it look like he's smelling a fart?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know.
Go ahead,
watch
Roy.
the whole stream again.
Oh, I'm crying. Yo, I'm crying over
What were
here.
you gonna say, Roy?
That's cold, man. That's cold.
Johnny, you might be cooked, bro. You might be cooked. Hold on. check Thunderdome right now, bro. Check Thunderdome right now. I want you to put that up on the stream for all of us to see.
Yo.
Oh gosh.
Yo.
All right, I'm opening
Did y'all
up.
see?
Where's
Did y'all see
Thunderdome?
in the
Hold on a
memes
second.
with what Logan did with the? He did the Muslim apologetic face with the panda and with the praying hands. Did you guys see that?
Wait, hold on.
I saw that one, Maverick.
What
I was
Logan
in tears. I'm in tears right
Oh
now.
my
I'm
God.
actually I had to wipe my tears away. I was crying like 5 minutes ago.
Logan did it, and he tagged Gary in it. And you know how we kept making fun of the Muslim apologetic for that dumb face he was making? Yeah, you about to. So if you go, go to the memes. Go to the memes one in my Discord. Go to the meme section and then go up a little bit.
Oh, well, I was trying first with Roy.
Oh.
Yo, scroll down.
Scroll down. Oh gosh. I'm not prepared.
All the way down.
Logan.
No, all the way down. Even further. Hey, yo, by the way, those images were made by... More down. All the way down. Right there. We're all spamming the Imago Logos chat with that, bro.
Oh my goodness, man. All right, Brother Maverick, which one? Memes?
Memes, go to memes.
Yeah, the memes one. Was it
Just go up.
Okay.
That Tai Lung one is amazing as well.
Yeah.
Scroll up, Jerry. Yo, that was all of us when she was cooking a guy.
No, go up a little bit more. Go up a little bit more.
Play the video. Dude, come on, there's a video. There's a video.
Hey, show everybody else, show Roy and them that. Yeah, play that one real quick. It's 1:39. This is the context behind it.
Oh my gosh.
Maximize it for them. Maximize it for them.
Yeah,
Please tell me you got the sound. Turn the sound up.
Well, let me pause it. Hold on. All right, hold on. We ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, do the sound.
Here you go.
Oh, I can't hear the sound, bro. That's
Me neither.
crazy.
I don't hear the sound.
You can't hear the sound?
No.
Nah.
Okay, hang on a second. I don't know if it's weird. I'll try it again. If not, just if anything, join Brother Maverick's Discord link in his
I just downloaded
YouTube
it. Yeah,
channel
I
bio.
downloaded it. Let me see. I can share it and see. I don't know if you guys can hear.
Oh yeah, try that because maybe
Yeah, try
it
that.
just doesn't work.
Try that. It's worth it. Oh, it's worth it. Saw that. You see it? Saw no one's gonna have this kind of dirt on me.
Dude.
Marcus, I promise I'll check out your video after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on the way to work.
All of a sudden, Aladdin shows up at the most worst time possible.
Yeah, he's gonna see my face. He's gonna see
Yo, is
young
he
Christian.
here? Is he here? Is he
Young
here?
Christian,
Oh,
this
you
one
just
cooked
No,
you.
he's not here.
No.
That would
He
be
needs
like
to
the
come
most
up here.
perfect timing as we're talking about.
Young Christian,
Grafted, I mean,
you let
not
this one
recording.
cook you? Look at his face, young Christian, cook you.
Now I'm going to educate you, boy.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Well, did you know you are a coward and you don't know Arabic? So I'm going to educate you. I'm going to embarrass you because you have diarrhea from your mouth.
I forgot he said that, man. Oh my goodness, dude. We're just gonna be messing around for the rest of the stream, I guess.
I
Well,
can't
yeah,
believe
because
that.
no one wants to call in.
I can't believe that dude.
Yeah,
mean,
no
I
one
don't
called in,
understand.
man.
I don't.
I mean,
understand,
I'll take it. We got some pretty funny clips from it.
I told him in a comment too. I'm like, I don't even understand how you could follow Muhammad when you know fully well you were there from the day that Moses came down the mountain with them tablets. You were there, so I don't understand why you're over here pretending like you don't know what's up, man. You can't even read.
Bust down says you can't even read your own mother tongue, boy. You're nothing, boy. Look at me. You're
Hold on,
finished.
did you play, Johnny? You didn't
finished.
get the video? Hold on, let me see. I can play the video for you guys real quick if you want. I can start.
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
dressed.
yeah. Did you?
Here, let me try to share. Let me see if
Yeah,
you guys
please,
can hear it.
please try it, Maverick.
Let me see video file.
We need this. I watched it. It was peak.
All right, there it is.
Analytical dunce. Is that Alchemist?
That's yeah, Alchemist.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
me.
I shared
What?
the video,
What
Johnny.
up?
Can you see it?
No.
Yeah, I see it.
The reason I can't stop
Oh,
laughing
no, I see it.
is because Muhammad did this dumb. So you see this really stupid face that the Muslim apologetic is making. For some reason, he's got his hands like exactly what Grafton is doing. Grafton is doing. Go ahead, Grafton. So he's doing exactly. So he's. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys Grafton's face. Go ahead, Grafton. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. So the reason this is funny, guys, is because I want you guys to see Muhammad released a short of this conversation. Now, I am giving you guys full transparency. There's no way for you guys to know that Muhammad did not cut it out, but I watched the whole debate and I watched the short. And I know for a fact that Muhammad did not in any way deceptively edit his short. I want you guys, and I'm not going to say anything. I want you guys to listen to the conversation. I'm going to start laughing. I'm going to mute my mic because you're going to see what Muhammad did in response to the stupid pose that the Muslim apologetic is doing in his thumbnail. He obviously was made aware of this video, so I want you guys to see this. So Muhammad... yeah, look, he did this to himself. Why are your lips like that, first of all? But anyways, all right, guys, I'm gonna play this video.
I don't know how well that looks for people viewing because it was a little laggy for me, but
it is.
Oh, that's crazy.
Dakota says we're silly. You know what's crazy?
Dakota, man.
That was a perfect bring out at the end because David Wood and Apostate Prophet, they have everybody calling Libiano Orthodox duck lips.
Dude. Oh my goodness.
I can't, man. But hey, listen, I gotta get ready for work, man. I'm gonna be at work all night.
Damn, bro, you gonna do the FNAF shift like
Dude,
what's
I'm on the FNAF ship for real. Like I'm not like on the con FNAF ship. I'm like for real. You know what, Johnny? Congrats on 400, brother. We'll be
For
here
real.
with you. We're gonna get you over that 1,000. We're gonna get your channel all. We're gonna get you all recognized, man, because you deserve it. If you guys want, stop by. Roy, everybody here. Of course, you guys are open invitation for you guys. Tomorrow, I plan on going live at the normal time, God willing. And you guys take care of yourselves, man. God bless you. Love you guys.
Yeah, see you, man.
Later, bro.
Thank you, Brother Maverick. God bless.
All right, we
Boss Down
finna
says
end it
check
off here,
thunder
or?
room. I'm
Yo,
I'm gonna
wait,
check
don't
thunder
start
room
off
really-
stream
we-
first.
and
Let me check it myself, bro. Let me check it myself first. Hold on. Bro, what did you send? What did you hold on? What you wanted to check?
I have no idea what he's
Bro.
referring to. It could,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Do you know what?
Go first. Scroll all the way down before you start sharing, and you'll see it. You'll see it.
Do you know what doesn't help? Like, it's quite late for me, right? So, like, it's always that time of night for me where I just laugh at everything. Like, that's just the mode I'm in.
oh my goodness, man. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Is it this?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's funny.
Dude, this is oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh, this is the craziest. Oh, my
In other
goodness.
news, hold on. I just saw this. If you look at the chat, it seems Sam has sent over a video to me or to someone, and I guess someone will upload it. I don't know. We'll see about that. I'll probably end up editing it. I don't know.
All right.
By the way, LA Apologist.
So anyways.
Seen you around. He's in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah, LA Apologetics. Yeah, how you doing, man? He's in the group chat in the WhatsApp group, right? Right, Grafted? I believe he is.
No, I don't think LA's in our group. No. Not in the WhatsApp group.
Bruh.
Oh,
Y'all got an Instagram group? I'll join that one, low key.
There's a Discord server, but not everyone. Grafted, Brother Maverick are there. I don't know about everyone else that's in the group chat though.
Which one are you talking about?
Let's see. Let me show you. It's on his channel. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, I just realized my
We're
phone's
gonna-
at 2%. I'm cooked.
Oh my gosh, man. All right. Well, let me get. Here we go. Brother Maverick.
So on everything,
Let
I'm
me
cooked,
get-
bro. Is this a wallahi I'm finished moment, bro? It's gonna hit 1% and I'm gonna
Man.
be gone.
Shoot. Hold on. No. Hold on. Wait. It's not working. Okay, there we go. Come on, I gotta speed run this. If not, just literally rewatch the stream. But there's his channel and it has the Discord link. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Roy's phone is about to die. I don't know if he's still there. But we're gonna end it here. I think his phone just died actually. Roy?
No, it's at 1%, bro. It's hanging on. It's hanging on at the last end.
Hang it on. All right. I'm gonna end the stream before it dies. So thank you all for tuning in. This was a chaotic stream. Didn't get the Muslims, man. Didn't get the Muslims. I wanted them here, but they didn't show up. Or Hebrew roots, whoever. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Grafted, Real Faith, Alchemists. Thank you all for tuning in. Brother Maverick, obviously, Bible Lover earlier. Chris, thank you all. I'm gonna end the stream now. God bless you all, and goodbye.
God bless.